also to see it recording and think I was trying to
All right, we're on the air. It looks like now, right?
Yes, we're on the air.
Broadcasting live.
Yes.
So yeah, Corinne. Essentially, we're saying, you've been referred to us as somebody that can benefit from the Orderies restaurant reputation management software. We're here to quickly introduce you to the platform and set up your free complimentary access to it. And then we're going into asking some probing questions like, are you aware of all your restaurant reviews? Could you imagine what it'd be like if there was a couple you didn't know about, or if you got a bad one, right? We're trying to kind of create that need, or find the need that they have for the software. And, a couple questions like, how easy is it to find your restaurant online? How accurate is your information? What are you doing to engage your customers on Facebook, email, Twitter, Instagram? And then, kind of what are your restaurant goals? Things like that.
Now, do you document those answers?
Yes. We're doing a better job at putting notes in these fields and notating some of these things. Oftentimes we're having a hard time kind of getting to the probing, because once we start asking open-ended questions, they're like, listen, I don't really have time for this. So we often will get cut off and have to kind of jump straight to the pitch. You know what I mean? And kind of speed through this a little bit. So what I'm hearing on the calls is a very abbreviated version of this script. Mm-hmm. When the restaurateur is kind of stepping over us and saying, look, I'm busy, I don't have a lot of time, the agents are kind of jumping right to the presentation of, look, you're going to love it. It's going to help you search the dozens of review sites, and it provides you a text alert when a new review is posted. That gives you the power to respond immediately, minimize any potential negative impact to your business. And I'm sure you'd love that, right? Okay, we're going to set that up in just a second. The Social Hub also, the Orderies Social Hub also compiles data and generates a score based on the accuracy of your online information. It's like a credit score. The higher, the better. And this score has a dramatic impact on your business and the ability for new potential customers to find you. I'm sure you'd love to know what your score is, right? All right, well, let's get it started for you. It only takes 20 seconds to sign up. And then we are going through the form. We're signing the customer up. We're setting their password for them, and letting them know there's no obligation, no credit card needed. We tell them, listen, sometimes it takes, please. So one thing we've added here, because we're signing people up and they weren't even logging in, so we added on some text to say, please take some time the next few days to log in. We want you to try out the Orderies Social Hub, get to know the tools you now have, and experience the power it gives you. This is going to be amazing. So we say our online restaurant reputation experts will be reaching out to you in about a week. We know the 30 days goes by quickly, so we want to answer any questions you might have and make sure you get the most out of this trial. So,
do they read that whole script to the customer?
He just said if they can. Times, pushback. So
right.
My initial thought with that is warm transfer opportunity there is, well, if you don't even have time to set this up with me, do you actually have time to be doing these things yourself? Why don't you just jump on and see what we can do for you, or schedule a time?
Yeah.
For you.
What I think that let me think about this. So I can tell you what some of my competition does. And again, I've never done the outbound calling, so I'll lean on your expertise, Kenny, on your side, and Dave. But I know that they try to keep it less salesy and more personal. Like they get someone on the phone, hey, Dave, this is Jimmy. I was looking at your restaurant online, and I noticed you got a lot of reviews. Have you ever thought about monitoring it? I'm with the company that can help you. In other words, instead of trying to make it sound candy, and
yeah, that's a big thing with kind of getting in the door with these customers.
Yeah.
As soon as they feel like it's a sales pitch, click.
100%. Like I can use an example. Single Platform, one of our partners, they sell menu distribution all over the place. Like anytime you click on a link on Yelp or someone, that's menus being fed from Single Platform. they did a little trickery in the beginning. What they did was they put all uncurrent menus on everyone's website. And then they call the restaurant and say, hey, is you over there? I just went to your website and you notice your menu's wrong, but I can help you fix that if you want, you know? And they made it more personal. I think when we get the call in here, I think if somebody has like a couple of seconds, I think you want to try to get as many dials as possible, right? And Corinne, back me up. And again, you know this better than me. But I think if you say, hey, listen, I can help you with this menu. You got a couple of seconds? I got someone who can really explain this to you. And if they say no, get on to the next dial. If they say yes, throw them over to us. And then we'll see what we can do on our end to immediately start to build that relationship. The way you're going to know this, you'll know this in the first 2 weeks, guys. If you start sending us over, if you keep it short and sweet, you want to hear something? I got someone who can tell you some really cool stuff. If they say no, get on to the next one. If they say yes, you push a button, and we're going to pick up that phone immediately. It's not going to ring more than twice. You'll see how many people that we're actually able to talk to. We'll give you back statistics, and we'll tell you for every, X amount, 50% are still there when we pick up the phone. And out of those 50%, only 25% even listen to us, you know what I'm saying? We'll know what percentages are once it starts happening. But I don't think getting into too much, if you get into too much conversation on your end, then you're going to compound it, but too much conversation on your end. And then we want to get them into the sales department to get a deposit. It's way too much time for that customer. I think the easiest thing.
No, I didn't mean to kind of make it sound like this is really wordy or a big presentation, because a lot of this does get pared down.
I know that. I know. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying is I don't want to make it work. I'm just telling you how we, on our end, we've done it 1,000 different ways till Sunday, and we finally fine-tuned it on it. We make it sound like from the get-go, when we're talking to that guy, my guy sounds so laid back and cool, and we're just like, hey, before we know it, our customers know, we know them by name, and it all starts from that first contact that you get from when the guy comes in the door, right?
Yep.
So what do you think? I mean, what would you want them to say in order to?
I mean, I feel like there's two routes, and I feel like both in my head, at least initially, have to do with the pushback that they may receive. If the pushback is time, there's a segue for, we can do it for you, let's schedule a time. Or there's the segue of, if you don't have time to talk to me right now, do you have time to get your specials out to all your platforms for football season? Stuff like that.
Right. I think what they do is if Argo on their side says, would you want to schedule something? They say, yes, hold on a second. I'm going to transfer you to someone who's going to set you up.
Yeah.
Or if they say, were you interested in learning more about, are you interested in learning more about what your reviews? Because here's the thing. I wish that one thing we could do, because, by the way, I sat with Dave and Ken both in Maine, and I showed them our CRM and all the data that we'll have on that customer.
Right.
You're going to use your system still, right? You're not going to use our CRM, right?
Well, I would love to test the CRM. I'd love to give that a try, because I think it helps do exactly what you said, in that you can really personalize it, because you can so easily go to that restaurant, see their reviews. I think that's the biggest advantage right there, is to be able to,
like
that restaurant reviews and personalize your kind of greeting a little bit more.
The reason why I'm even asking that is because let me just do this real quick.
But I don't want to get too far off topic though, Jimmy, because I think on our coming out of our last meeting, we had a good idea. And the idea is that we want to take people that do have a moment on the phone and are showing, a higher level of interest in this and are more receptive to the conversation. We want to get those hot leads over to you.
What percentage of the trials that you guys have set up would you feel are people that had legitimate interest? Or what percentage of people that you feel that the salesperson may or may not have tiptoed around? I'll just send you a link, and in the next few days, check it out.
It's like, I was just talking to one of our top salespeople in the campaign now, and he said, 85-90% of these customers, it feels like they're just trying to get you off the phone. You know what I mean? They'll take it and they're kind of being nice about it, but there's not a sense that there's really a high need or interest. But that 10 to 15% do show a higher level of interest. You know, and we talked about those are the ones that we want to try to get over to you so that you can take a swing at maybe some of the low-hanging fruit that we're passing over here and improve a contact rate with them. I know if they're a good customer and, you know, it's going to be easier while we have that enthusiasm while they're on the phone to put them in your lap while they're on the phone. We don't have to wait and call them back in a week and not get a hold of them, you know?
I think we're just looking for the sort of verbiage to kind of segue them into that actual transfer, really.
Yeah. So what do we say? We get that customer, they have some level of enthusiasm for the product, more than average, right? And we want to get them to you. We want you to kind of experience this. What do we say to them? What's the benefit for them to hold on a second and transfer it over to you? Is it because, you know, oh, you know what? We don't do this very often, but they may be able to add another widget to your social hub for the trial? Or is it like something like that that's like,
I don't think you're going to get that deep into the conversation. I think that as soon as they have to have the ability on their end up there with you guys to even gauge, oh, this guy sounds like he's interested. Keep that conversation short and say, you got a minute? I got someone who can really knock your socks off, however you want to put it in whatever terms. And just, if you start to go over value and stuff like that, you're going to start to lose that customer. There's a bell curve with these guys. And as soon as that interest is peaked, boom, they got to get it over here. If you let them if you start keeping that conversation going too long, then you don't know if my guys are going to regurgitate the same stuff again, which is bad in sales, or if they're going to go in a different direction, which may confuse the customer. I would just, as soon as they say, hey, are you interested in learning more about how we can fix your reviews or see your stuff, you know, or I saw your restaurant, it looks really beautiful, but I think I can help you, you know, get out there to all the social media. Does that sound cool? And the guy goes, yeah, hold on a second. I got someone who's going to knock your socks off type of thing. And then just push that button. I don't know, Quinn, what do you think? That's my opinion.
I think that would be a good starting point. And then once we see the success of that, see where there might be more opportunity for, like I was saying before, like the ones that push back,
right,
also being opportunities. But that would be kind of, as you were saying too, low-lying fruit where we could test that out and see how that works.
Another thing is if a guy says, you know what, it sounds, you know what, Kenny, it sounds cool, but you know what, I really don't have time right now. Well, would you mind if I had someone give you a call tomorrow? And then you could forward us that name and we can try to do a follow-up on it. Put it in our CRM and follow up. We probably won't get to it. Well, we can do an email campaign.
Yeah, we could.
I mean, we could subtly try to reach out to that customer, you know. But I would try to not, you know, make that as a fallback. I would like to see, like if we got 200 trials last month, I would love to see that turn into 75. But 75 ones that we could either set up or push to sales.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there can also be different buckets of what reach out we're following up with on our end.
And we only going to know that until it starts, you know? Because you may have people that totally have interest from the get-go. Some people might just say set up the trial, but at least when they're setting up the trial on our end, the one thing, the big difference from here, and I know what Kenny and Dave are saying, what they're saying is they're afraid that when they go to transfer, when we pick up the phone, the guy will be gone.
Yeah, because I do that. I hang up a lot when people transfer me. So
yeah, like at the end of the thing, say, we'll hold for the survey. Yeah, click. But if they do get in here, I'm going to hope that our people, because we've been doing it a lot longer, will be able to at least at the very least set that trial up and start to build a little bit of a relationship.
Right.
See, the worst thing would be that if we turn around and tell the customer, check it out in a few days, they'll be gone. 3 days from now, they even forgot they even talked to us, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll start to build that relationship from the very beginning.
And not all of them are going to want to transfer, like we said. Not all.
Of course not.
No. Needs, but you know, I'm thinking of an example where we called a customer and we didn't get them on the phone, but we got their wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we started to explain why we were calling, and she goes, "Oh my goodness, that's so funny. You know, my husband had just asked me to take over all of this for the business, and I didn't really know where to start. Maybe this is something that could really, help me out. And it's like, yeah, you want to go talk to somebody at Orderies right now? Right? Like this is somebody that was going to be working on it anyway. We caught him at the right time, at the right moment. We happened to get the right person on the phone. That's what I want, what I ultimately see is get that over to you. They might not even need a trial. They might just, go for that monthly sign up right now. And if you guys have the experts that can kind of close them and make that happen, then I'd rather do that than just kind of leave them to their own devices here.
100%. And the one thing I would add into this pitch is don't say I'm going to get you over to Orderies. Make them be on the assumption that we're in the same building. And if they do mention that, I notice you're on Yelp. Do you ever, whatever the pitch is going to be, let me get you over to our reputation management department so they can help you look into this more, And this way they think they're being
Immediately sold.
They're not a call center. You're not a call center transferring it to Orderies. You're an Orderies person who called them and says, I saw your reviews. You want me to tell you how we can fix it? Let me get to the reputation management department, And then they'll think that we're still the kind of like the fixers,
right,
not the sellers.
So then that's going to be important. Like the next things that you say, like if we're setting some expectation, how are you going to answer the phone, and what are the first, few sentences that you're going to say going to be?
That we're going to figure out. All right, I'm not sure yet. What we're going to maybe we'll just answer the call.
it's gonna come up to Jamal.
Hey, Jim, why don't while Argo's on the call, when they do the transfer, have the customer listen and say, have Argo dial in. They say, hey, Megan, I have Jane on the line. She's got a business in Utah and she's looking for to improve her reputation. I told her that you'd be the perfect person to speak with her. Could you give her an idea on what services we offer and such and such and such?
Yeah, I was also thinking, Jamal, if we took their list and uploaded it into the CRM, we could search that lead real quick, and then we can see all their demographics because it's all on the CHD list. How many employees? We can see all their media pages. We can see everything.
Right.
So we're actually looking at the CRM while we're talking to the customer.
Yeah, you can do that as well, just to have more background. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I would definitely I wouldn't just have the phone ring. I mean, but you know what it is, that phone call conversation between Argo and your team, Corinne, has to be like 7 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot keep that customer on the line on hold. They will hang up. But if you do get a little background from the Argo rep first, verbally, and while you're talking to the customer, you're just searching them in the CRM and they come up.
Right.
And then you hit that pop-up box and you can click all the Yelp, their TripAdvisor. You can see how many years they're in business, what their average revenue is. You'll see all that in front of you. You'll know kind of what to say to that customer.
I think the idea of the dial-in though is really good because at least we'll know kind of where, even if it's just a general background, we'll know kind of where to start as well.
Yeah, I got Kenny on the phone. He's only the manager, but he thinks that could be cool. We know what we got to say, okay? And then I would look the customer up on the CRM, of course. And the only reason why we'd want to use that is because you don't want to be searching TripAdvisor,
Hey, you just said something that piqued my interest. So when we get this customer to them, do you have the data for them in your CRM already?
No, but I could take your CHD list because we buy from CHD also, so we have that same format. And I can upload it into the CRM, but tag it to Argo. So this way they sit from Cisco. Jamal, I can do that, right? Upload it and just tag it as Argo lead right away?
Yeah. We can set the refer immediately.
Okay, so now it'll come up as an Argo lead, but now I can go into CRM and just search. That's what I was going to show you. I can just search Joe's Pizza, and it's going to come up on a list, and it'll see Argo, and I can click on that literally while you're making the first 8-second introduction to the customer, and before the customer opens their mouth, I'll see all their demographics. So I'll know right away when I'm talking to them. I can be, before the customer finishes talking or we start talking, I can have, by clicking 3 buttons, I can have TripAdvisor, Yelp, and Facebook open in my tabs that I can see what they've done, if they've got good reviews or not, what their place looks like. And this customer is going to have the perception that we literally have an interest in them because they're going to think we researched them already,
Right.
which is really just a matter of being organized and pulling out the data really quick.
All right, so that's awesome. Here's another small detail that I just thought of. If we are transferring this over to you, and say it's Graham, are we still going to be able to report back that this is Graham's trial sign up or potentially sale?
Well, that's what we put in the CRM. We'd have to know who that person came from, and I guess we'd have to tag it.
Yeah.
From Graham. What we could do is if we're setting up a trial, can we do a walkthrough on it real quick? You guys got a minute or you got to run?
No, I got a 1 o'clock. But other than that, I can spend a little bit more time on this.
This will take 2 seconds then. Let me just do this, okay? Let me just share this. Okay, so now if we go to the CRM, if we uploaded your list, and that guy does that transfer, and he did a little verbal introduction, 5 seconds or less. Corinne got a hot one. His name is Kenny. He's Mario's Pizza in Maine. Talk to him. Or however you want to do it, we can search over here under leads and put in Mario's, and it'll come up, and we'll see it here. And Jamal, we could probably even add a column here to that search bar that shows the referrer, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So now they'll see, okay, Mario's Pizza in Wisconsin, and it'll say over here, Argo, okay? So we'll know that's the customer. While we're talking to the customer, we'll click on it. And we're going to see all their demographics. If whatever they have, whatever, this guy's got nothing in it. But we'll see everything that's in it right here. All their links and everything. And then the referrer info, you'll be under here. All we'd have to do is say who are you from and go like that, and we could tag it. Now it's attached to that salesperson. I wish we could search it from this part, Corinne. If we were able to go over here, this makes it even easier for our people on our side. If from the quote follow-up page, because then it's all in a pop-up. Unless we can add that as a pop-up. But that's technical stuff we'll talk on the sidebar. But if I could turn around, if I knew that customer was coming in and that Argo guy gave me a verbal, so around I'm making this casual, cool conversation with this guy on my end. It doesn't sound canned. And we're not the orderly sales team, we're transferring onto the reputation management team. Or let's come up with something cool and catchy,
Right.
At that point, I can go to that customer while I'm talking to the customer, and I was able to click on it like this. I'm going to see right out of my gate, I can go over here and click, TripAdvisor, Yelp, Twitter. I can click any of these links. I can actually see what their website looks like. If I were to go like this guy right now, right? And if I go like this, I could look at his website and see what he's got to offer while I'm talking to him. We may even turn around and say, hey, listen, you know what? I can help you with a website.
Yeah.
So all that data is going to be right in front of us.
But didn't we discuss that? Again, sidebar thing, but didn't we discuss adding that as like a thing overall in the action required?
We're going to. What do you mean? Oh, so you're doing the demos? Yeah, but this is more like I'm saying, once we get the guy on the phone, because just so you guys know what we're doing on the side, all those trials that came in that didn't sell, my marketing team is researching all their websites and sending them out emails offering them a website now. So we're still trying to bring in MRR for those customers on our end, Yeah. But I think, and any notes that you guys may have, if they were using our CRM system, we would see all their notes uniform here. That would be kind of cool. Oh, you see this customer right here? See this? Look at this. By Argo, mark hub date. By Argo. Why the hell did you say that? That's weird. 2017? We weren't dealing with Argo in 2017. But anyway, that might have been one of the samples we were doing. Regardless. So I think that if we got the customer in here on a quick transfer, you did a verbal, but if you gave us the list, we would upload it. It would come over here. It would list out here as Argo. And then what's going to be kind of cool, guys, is not only will you'll know what salespeople, but I'll be able to go to my statistics page and literally look at Argo and tell you how many of your leads have sold and turned into conversions. Like right now, you'll be in here, you'll be listed in here, as it'll say Argo, and it'll say that, you know, you had 5,000 names we uploaded, and I'll tell you how many turned into trials, how many sold, how many converted. You'll be able to see all those stats, and we'll be able to really figure out what happens. I mean, nothing happens, you know what, until you get the fish to bite the hook. So the first thing is going to be is getting that verbiage as to what they're going to say to get them in-house here, and then what data we're going to have on that screen to expedite that conversation, but make that conversation as casual and as informed as possible. Because if when you're on the phone with the customer, we have to start Googling them and looking things up, it looks like a cold call. If we have sneakily already, by the time that customer gets into the 70th second of the conversation, we could have already clicked all their social media pages and be looking at it. The customer is going to feel that we're more invested in it. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to think that we researched them and we took the time out to get to know them. That goes a long way with the lead too, don't you think? What do you guys think?
I think so.
I think so.
So it's going to be, you guys going to come up with the verbiage for that transfer. If you want to give us that list, we need to know that customers coming off that list. You saw how fast I can search a restaurant, right? And if he says this is Mario's Pizza in Lewiston, Maine, we're going to be able to click on that link probably by the time we finish the hello.
Right.
And then we're going to have all that data, guys, right in front of us, all their social media pages. And we can and literally in the conversation be click, 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 if they don't even see it, and it's going to open up right across the browser. You follow what I'm saying? Right across the top of the browser. While I'm on the phone with that guy, making my introduction, I'm going to be going click, 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 click. And then I'm going to see everything and say, hey, I see your place. Oh, wow, you're on the river. Man, you must have a lot of cool business in there. Do people talk up there in Maine? What's going on? Did he go over? I see you got a lot of reviews on Yelp. Right. We can help you monitor that. You know that, right? Just something to make that guy say, wow, make this guy personal. These guys here who called us really, we're not just a number. We're not one of those robo-dials, you know? Even though we're going to automate the hell out of it, right? But the fact is that they don't have to know that.
So how many people are going to be on this team that we're potentially transferring the calls to?
I have 2, and then it's going to roll over to Nick and Corinne. So it'll actually be 4 people here ready to go.
Okay. What can we do to test this out? Like, can we do a sample test before we have a customer live and just
sure
play it and see how it goes?
I'll call your call center. You call me on my cell phone, and then you transfer them to us. And you can do 400 practices if you want. It's not going to be that hard. The biggest thing is going to be is that we know that at all times, Corinne, I'm going to send Corinne's database. I have 100% confidence in Corinne here. She's proven herself. She's grown the Cisco relationship. She's brought in other partnerships. She knows what to say to a customer. She takes a customer. Everyone likes to say that, you know, we sell stuff because it's Cisco. No. Cisco gets the lead to us. Corinne gets them to see a demo. But once they see a demo, guys, 65% of those people spend money. We got to get them on the demo. So that's why I'm getting Corinne involved in this. And I'm going to task her with figuring this out with me. And when we get this figured out, then we'll figure out how to scale it. You want to make 20 people call? We'll put 50 people here converting leads. She likes that she's tasked. You see the look that she just gave me? So Ken, David, you're going to be in touch with Corinne. Corinne, you're going to be in touch with Ken and David. Work very closely. Monitor. I know you got a lot going on in there with Cisco too. So I'm not going to. But maybe you get Nick involved in this a little bit too. Maybe Nick can pull up a little bit of slack. This is not a long-term thing. Right. But we need to gather up some data. And then we can make a direction. We can see what works and what doesn't work. And what works, we'll put gas on that fire. The biggest thing right now is to get these warm transfers going. You're going to get Carly heavily involved in it. Okay, I don't know where Megan's going with it, but we're going to get Carly heavily involved in it. And then if we see this start to work, then we're going to bring in staff. And then we'll determine whether that staff becomes part of the sales team or part of lead generation. I still think it's going to be part of lead generation because I would love to have warm transfers with Cisco. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
So
any other questions?
On our side, we have the transfer option in the script as of right now. We just got to test it out and make sure it works properly. So that's going to be the first step on our side. So I think we can get that done today.
The only thing I would really beg and ask is, and this is just from my own personal experiences, keep it short and sweet. Get that guy on the phone as soon as you feel like you got to get a gut feeling. This guy is interested. Boom. Transfer him over and get on to the next call. It's all going to be numbers now. It's a numbers game. And then we'll vet him out. When he gets over here, if it's garbage, we'll just delete it. It's not a big deal. But the ones that are good, you know what, percentage-wise, we talked percentages the other day, guys, and we're trying to hit goals, but we don't even know what the goals are. So we're setting goals that may or may not even be achievable. But the truth of the matter is you don't have to get a lot of ones that start to pay to make this pay off. So we need to say, when you're buying 5,000 names, we got to say that this guy's good. Let's get him going. This guy's not. Let's move on to the next one. The more time we put trying to regurgitate the ones that aren't good, we're potentially missing somebody who is good. That doesn't mean that we can't go back to those other customers later because we have a lot of other products. And then there's marketing. You know, let's email them. Let's do email marketing to them. Let's do some other avenues to reach out to them. But the initial, if you want to do the first, make olive oil, we're going to do the first press. The virgin olive oil is that you squeeze out and you get the best ones we can. And that's going to be vetting them out, but time is of the essence. It's cutting down the time that the customer spends on the phone initially. So I'm going to tell you, once you pique their interest, sometimes we can't get them off the phone. So sometimes I got to go to my salespeople, right? And I got to tell them, you got to cut down the length of the demo. Because salespeople the customer gets so interested, guys, they stay on the phone. And then a big problem is bandwidth. You know, you only have X amount of salespeople. You can't have a salesperson on the phone for an hour with the customer. How do you get that customer to the point where it's a 20-minute demo and they're ready to leave their credit card? We kind of figured that out. It's just a matter of now gauging their interest, getting them here. You know what I mean about bell curve in sales, right? As they're getting interest, when they're here is when we got to strike. If we let it go past, they mind starts wandering and the percentages start dropping as far as getting a success on it. So get them in here before that bell curve hits the peak, and then we're on our end going to start exciting them to either A, see a trial. At the worst scenario, they say no. At the second worst scenario, they let us set up a 30-day trial, but we're going to set it up with enough info and the data, and we're going to have a name. How about this? If John Smith at Autorees sets up that trial, John Smith is going to call that guy back maybe in 3 days and says, hey, Paul, remember I spoke to you? I set up the trial. How's it going? We don't have that ability right now, right? Because right now, the Argo rep sets it up, and then we're making essentially another cold call to that customer who never spoke to us. One thing we have found in the past, am I right, Clint, is that the less people that actually contact that customer, the better, because we found that we have a salesperson who sells a product, and there's immediate micro relationship that's built with that customer, and then a customer service rep goes to call it. It's like we almost have to reestablish a relationship. But when that salesperson, who we like to call a marketing representative, marketing associate, calls that customer, they pick up the phone because they're familiar with the name. Okay? So when we set up the trial, right now, you know, Carly and Megan are calling the trials that you send, and we're not even getting them on the phone. But if we go to call them in 3 days, and we go, is Ken there? Yeah, this is Megan. I spoke to him 3 days ago. I set up some stuff on the computer. I told him I'd get back to him. There's a better chance he's going to get back on the phone with me, don't you think? You would hope.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. And, you know, having that kind of continuity here where the same person's calling them back, it may improve that contact rate and it could potentially improve conversion. So I'm all for it.
Whatever we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna keep our eyes on scale, and whatever we're gonna do, we have to make it as personal as possible without putting so much time into it that it's not scalable. Because our goal here is to blow this thing out of the water completely. Okay? And I think we can do it.
Yep.
So when you want to start doing some practice to see if at least the system works.
Well, I mean, we could do that this afternoon.
Yep.
We could do a transfer over this afternoon. We could have we're going to test this with one agent. So we're not going to overwhelm you with, we're not going to flood you with calls, but we're going to train one agent. We'll test a transfer over to you. I don't know how quickly you can get all of the data into your CRM. But we could test it with this afternoon with the person we're going to be doing this with.
If you overwhelm us, dude, I'll put on one of these things and I'll start answering phone calls. You kidding me?
Right on.
We're gonna make this thing work. Do you want to send us over the list and we will import it in our CRM so we can look at that customer when you call it over?
Yeah, can you get that over to him?
Yeah, we can do that.
It's just a CSV file, and then I can upload that in 20 seconds. And then I'm going to add in that search field. I'll add that the refer on the side, so they'll know that the list came from Argo. Okay.
Sounds good.
Upload it with that in there too, or else we have to go what?
No. When he gives it the list, I'll give it to Caesar. Caesar will add in Argo call center, and I'll let him upload it and add the column. And then when we do the transfer practice, Carl, the one thing that you're going to need when that person gets on the phone and says, "Got a hot one," we need to know the name of the restaurant, the name of the person we're speaking to, what town he's in. So we can be, when we get, "Hey, John, Paul just reached out, just sent me over to you. I'm in the reputation management department. I see that your restaurant has," and the way we're going to say "I see this" because while we're making that little introduction, we will have already searched his name and clicked on all his social media links. You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys. Sounds good.
All right, send me the list. I'm going to send Corinne's contact information, and let's all stay in contact. Just so you know, I am going down. I'd love to be able to say this is kind of the method that we're trying, and it would be phenomenal if we had a couple of cold transfers. I have a board meeting down at ITC in Georgia on Tuesday. I would love them to. So we got until Tuesday, guys, to get about 400 sales. What do you think?
Right.
We pull it off?
Yeah, well, then we will put the pedal to the metal here and get it going. You guys are working this weekend, right?
No, I'm only kidding, guys. It's all right. All right, but definitely, all right. I feel that this is the most organized that it's been.
Yeah, we know the direction.
And I feel better because I feel that we're going to have a little more at stake when we get that lead on our lap.
Yeah.
You know? Okay?
All right, guys. All right.
Thank you.
Do you want a copy of this recording so you know what we talked about?
Yeah, sure. Send it over.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Bye.